we go. So there is Hosana on top of the termite mound. It's a gap of about 1 centimeter, so we can't really move around too much, but very nice to see as well. And this is typical of cats, is that they will use these termite mounds regularly to try and find a way to get a little bit more elevation, see what's around them, check what's going on. And I wonder if he's not going to settle on top there. Looks like he's having a little sniff around, and there's that long white tail that's so expressive. Nope, we're going straight through, so I think we're going to go towards Pangolin Track Pan, is what I'm going to call it. It doesn't actually have a name, but that's what I'm going to call it for now. The problem is there's a number of other vehicles behind us, so I'm going to try and find a different way through so we can get ahead of Hosana a little bit and have him walking towards us rather than the other way around. Now, I believe we are not the only one that's had some luck this morning when it comes to spots. It sounds like Scotty Dyson has found his spotty creatures too, to complete the trifecta.
Hello, lucky, as did Tristan with Hosana, and it sounds like you've been having a wonderful morning with him, playing around. It doesn't seem like the Musketeer coalition of 5 cheetah, there's 5 cheetah all cuddled up there, seems to be as playful and excited as him, but who knows, maybe those Thompson's gazelle on the horizon will catch their attention. I'm very, very interested in the fact that, I'm surprised rather by the fact that we found them probably 500 meters away from where we found them last night, and it's hugely surprising that they haven't moved much further. They usually move great distances every evening, and maybe the fact that they aren't moving too much has got something to do with the fact that 4 of them are limping. 1 of them disappeared completely the day before yesterday. So there's been a notable change in their behavior. Usually, the time that I've spent with these guys, every night they'll move kind of 5 to 10 miles, or on average every day they move usually huge distances, but for the last 72 hours they've been camped out in a relatively small area. Now, I wonder if they didn't get lucky hunting last night, and possibly that could be another reason why they haven't moved too far. They may have got lucky with securing themselves a kill and then decided to just sleep off their full bellies, but I'm not convinced that is the case. Very difficult to be certain when they're lying down like this. Maybe it was the cold, rainy night that caused them just to bunker down. But I am certainly very happy that we have got some cheetah in our sights and some good prospects for them either later this morning or possibly this afternoon. They will become more active. Thankfully, though, for you, Hosana is up and on the stalk, so why don't you go and see what he is trying to catch?
Well, he's not so much stalking as that he's just watching some francolins going about their business, and he might try and chase them. I think he will eventually. You can see that bum is wiggling, his attention is completely focused. The thing is, though, the francolins are busy walking away from him, so if he was going to have pounced, he should have done it by now. Otherwise, he's got no chance whatsoever. I think he's going to get spotted fairly soon, and the francolins will go. But that might not stop Hosana. There you go. You can see he's now sitting bolt upright. He's realized that those francolins have moved off further than what he needed in order to pounce on them, and so, well, that's the end of that, and he's no longer now hunting. He's just sitting and relaxing and resting, and I think this is an area that he's probably going to start resting for the day. Although it's overcast conditions, it might mean that he moves around a little bit more. He might head down towards Twin Dams and go and check that out, but I think that he's going to start settling down a little bit. I don't think he's going to be as mobile as what we've seen him this morning. This is an area that he knows very well, and we found him here 2-3 days ago just resting at this pan, and so I think we're going to see a similar situation with Hosana, where he's just going to take it easy and rest a little bit more and kind of just take it as it comes for the day. Also, I can see a bit of blue sky in the cloud layer, which means I think we're going to have a similar situation to what Byron had yesterday, which was overcast, sort of dreary weather to start the day, and then the sun breaking out and it becoming really quite hot as time went on during the day. So I think we're going to have a similar situation. So I'd imagine once he finds a nice little place that's got some water and some shade, he's going to end up settling for the duration of the hot parts of the day. Also, the thing is that this pan is going to attract quite a few different herbivores. There'll be impalas and nyala and duiker and all kinds of things that come and drink here, so it's a great place if he's wanting to stalk to spend time. It's thick, it's dense, he's able then to be able to hunt whatever would be coming to drink. He's got a lot of cover to work with, and so it's a great place for him if he does want to learn how to hunt effectively at one of these places. Now he's going to probably walk straight past us. He's just coming down the road towards us. Hello, Hosana. So he is going to kind of keep moving towards the car, which is really cool. It's quite special when you have a situation like this, when you get a leopard that walks right towards you. You can see he's just coming past the front of the vehicle now. So there's my head, to get that out the way. And there he goes, his little tail disappearing and emerging out on the other side. Oh, nice of you to stop here, close to us as well. Isn't he beautiful? And he's going straight towards this little pan system, so I'm pretty sure he's going to end up resting here. Although, knowing Hosana and knowing that the weather is cool enough, and the fact that he seems to be interested in about anything that even remotely moves, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues his way southwards. Leopards sometimes will do the full bum wiggle like house cats do before pouncing. So just now Hosana was doing it as the francolins were kind of coming towards him. Once the francolins moved away slightly, he stopped, but they do it sometimes. If it's something like an impala, then no, generally not, because they're not trying to sort of show themselves up. They don't want to kind of give the idea that they are there, and so they try and keep as still as possible until such time as they actually go. But there is a little kind of wiggle of the bum just to get those feet in the right place and kind of prep them for this launch when they're going to start hunting. Now, what are you stalking, Hosana? No, you can't stalk anything there, so I'm just going to come around because he's just over there. I'm just looking to see if there isn't any sign of anything in terms of prey animals. I don't see any prey animals, so I think he's just getting to the point where he's just kind of checking around and making sure there isn't something here. Now, interestingly enough, is we were here, it was 3 days ago that we were here, and there was a lot more water than what we're currently seeing now. So if you have a look in front of him, there was that big water point there. There was no mud showing towards the middle. Now you can see in this area here, there's a lot of mud showing, and the other water point right close to me here was full of water. Now you can see there that that water is completely dried up, and so it just goes to show that this heat, the amount of water that is going to dissipate and disappear, is going to be very, very quick. And so if we don't get rain again in the next few days, I would imagine a lot of this is going to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go round so that I can give the guys space and try and give them a little bit of area so that they can see as well, because a number of the guys are behind me and they can't see too much. Now I believe Tayla has got another predator for us this morning, which is quite amazing, and it's nesting, so that's interesting.
Well, welcome back. Right, not as exciting as the wildebeest crossing. It's not going to get your adrenaline pumping, but how cool is this? We have found a crocodile, and either that's a crocodile nest or she's an avid golf player, and she's just brought her balls down to the river to give them a wash. But to me, those look like eggs. I can't imagine what else there could be, but it seems as though some of the nest has actually been washed away. Can you see that? Right on the river's edge. I don't think it's a particularly good spot. And also the way that she's laying above it makes me think that it is indeed a nest. Very, very cool. She's very fat, isn't she? Not very big in terms of length, but we know that the males get much bigger than the females, and this is a first for me. This is the first time I have ever seen, besides from the balloon, where I saw the water monitors digging out the eggs from a crocodile nest, and unfortunately the crocodile was completely oblivious to it. This is the first time other than that I've actually seen a crocodile guarding a nest before in the wild, which was very, very cool for me. Now, I've only seen them I've been to like crocodile farms and things when I was very young as a kid, before I knew any better, and you know, they would show you the eggs and all these types of things. But it's really nice to actually see this. But I'm a bit worried because I don't know how long that nest is going to last. If we carry on having the big downpours we're having every night, that water level is going to rise very, very quickly and wash away that nest quite easily. She's going to have to abandon it, which is a bit sad. So, very, very cool though. Now, for those of you who have never seen a crocodile nest before, they're actually incredible. It doesn't look like a very big nest. I don't think that there are many eggs in there. I mean, a crocodile can lay anywhere from, I would say, about 20 to about 80 eggs, just depending on the female and how healthy she is and the conditions, that she's been surrounded in. Is she eaten enough? Is she able to produce enough eggs? But I think some of them have actually washed away, or maybe someone has actually been in there and tried to steal them and take those eggs. Like I said, the water monitors do that on a regular basis. Even baboons, if they were to come across a nest and an adult wasn't there, they would probably go for it. I've seen baboons raiding ostrich nests before, so I wouldn't see why they would say no to a crocodile nest if it was just left unattended and it was obvious to them, like these ones are. You can actually see them. We saw the baboons in the live broadcast we did a couple of minutes ago. We had them moving around on the banks and on the edge of the river. But the eggs are temperature dependent, and it's pretty spectacular how sex is determined with the crocodiles. There's a very small window for males to be produced, and it's normally any temperatures higher than 31.7 degrees, I have to remember all these things, to 34.5, and anything below that or higher than that will produce females, which I think is pretty spectacular. So I wonder what's going to happen here with this nest being destroyed. I don't know if it's going to be a very successful nest, and to be honest, not many of the eggs will make it. Never mind if those youngsters actually hatch, it becomes increasingly more difficult for them after that. But this is the laying season, October. This is the time, we're still in October. So October, November is typically when they will lay their eggs, and it takes them about 3 months or so to hatch. It's quite exciting. I'm going to drop a pin here, and hopefully when we're on the side of the reserve we can come past and see how it's doing. But I don't know if I'm feeling too confident about this nest, and I thought that was quite cool. Just everything about crocodiles is really interesting, isn't it? Watching them feed, and I haven't seen mating display, although I think I saw a potential mating sort of display the other day. There was a big crocodile, relatively large crocodile, that was sitting on the back, in very shallow water, and another crocodile came up to it and sort of rubbed jaws with it, and I know that's typically when a male is trying to court a female, and she wasn't having any of it. She actually swam away and got away from him. That was at cul-de-sac, in fact. Now, I've got terrible comms here. I think I heard either Faith or Louise trying to ask me a question or to tell me something, but I cannot hear you, unfortunately. I fear that I've lost communication with the outside world completely. No. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take any questions because I can't hear it. It's so difficult. That's what I'm hearing, basically, from Vital Control at the moment. Where's this Cokie Franklin? I can hear you. Oh, I had a friend earlier. I had a spur file that came up and visited the car. It was quite funny. I don't know, I can just hear the Cokie Franklin calling, and then it made me think of this other encounter we had. We wouldn't have been able to have showed you because it was pretty much underneath my vehicle. And I suspect that it's obviously been fed crumbs by the cars. The birds do figure out the picnic spots and they go up and clean up like the hyenas and vultures would, but they just get the crumbs of the muffins and just sandwiches. And it was standing, like, singing to me, looking up as if to say, okay, right now I've sang you a song, give me a biscuit. I didn't, though. I didn't give Polly a cracker. I just sent it on its way. It was quite funny, though, and a couple of hippos lurking about just below the surface of the water. There we go. No, I'm so sorry, everybody, that I wasn't able to take any of your questions. Maybe once we move to a better signal area, we can go back to some of those croc questions. I'll move out and around from here now. Let's go into Tristan's car, the man with a fancy hairstyle, and the leopard king himself. And, well, it's fitting because he has got a leopard.
Fancy hairstyle. I'm not quite sure what Taylor's on about. don't really know what she's talking about at the moment. I have a cap on, which means that my hairstyle is in no way good at all. So there's VM just showing you all what my hairstyle looks like. It hasn't been cut for a few weeks, so it's all over the place at the moment, and so it doesn't look good at all. So I don't know why Tayla's saying that, but really cool sighting. Imagine a nesting crocodile. That would be really cool to see here. In fact, at Chitwa Dam, they used to nest there quite often, and so it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe this year we'll get them nesting. Now's the time of the year that the crocodiles do nest, and so it's the best time to look for them. So we must maybe head towards Chitwa Dam and just see if that female is potentially nesting. Now Hosana has gone from active cat to flat cat, and he has now decided he is tired. He's found himself a termite mound to rest. We're right next to that pan that we found him the other day. He got up onto this mound and then just proceeded to flop down as though he's exhausted. And well, I suppose we can't blame him. He's been all over the show this morning and provided us with just the most magical morning of gamesmanship, and he's been a real treat this morning. Almost back to his cub days with the way that he behaved, and so I suppose we can't blame him for being a little on the tired side. No, well, not many of those leopards will keep those baby blue eyes. Unfortunately, mostly what happens is that the ones with those baby blue eyes will eventually fade a little bit. So if you look at Tiani, she had sapphire blue eyes when she was a baby. They were electric blue, and they then slowly but surely have faded, and now they're a light shade of blue. There is one or two leopards that I have seen that have quite bluish eyes, a little bit more blue than even Tiani, and they kind of keep them through their life, but it's never that blue that we see when they're cubs. Unfortunately, with time it does start to just fade a little bit and starts to get a little bit duller and not as nearly as bright as when they're cubs, which is a bit of a shame, because it would be amazing to see a leopard with sapphire blue eyes walking around. It would be the most beautiful thing to see, but it does fade a little bit. Same as the green sometimes, and browns, you do tend to find that their eyes lighten up a little bit and they get a lot less color as they go on. But you can see, look at his breathing today in comparison to yesterday, just how much slower and more constant it is. It's not really as fast and as sort of panicky as what it was yesterday when he was hot and tired and full. Today it's a lot more sort of normal breathing pattern that he's got. And just look at those beautiful spots. We really have been spoilt with these kind of close-up views of Hosana, and I think we must have pretty much footage of his entire body at the moment up close, because yesterday we did the underside, and so VM's now showing you the top side of what Hosana looks like. So if we ever even just had a glimpse of him, I would imagine we would be able to do spot pattern recognitions from all of these kind of visuals that we've got at the moment, which is really cool. Now I think that Hosana, like I was saying earlier, is going to start spending time sleeping. Now this ear over here, I was saying to VM and I were chatting about it now. VM said he noticed it yesterday, but just behind that ear is a lot of raw sections. It looks like he might have had a little scrap with somebody else. There's a few little kind of claw marks and bite marks, and so if it was seen yesterday, I wonder if maybe Tundi or Tamba, that little altercation with Tamba the other day or something, has gotten hold of his ear, because he's got a few little cuts and scrapes there, which is fairly normal for a male leopard. You'll find that they get a lot of that kind of thing. It doesn't look like ticks or him scratching excessively from something like mange or something like that. It looks more like he's just caught a claw to the back of the ear or something like that, which I suppose is very possible. Remember, when leopards do fight, they'll kind of strike out with those paws, and sometimes they do just nick each other around the ears area, and it's nothing to worry about. It's not going to hurt him in any way. He's not going to be sore. He's not going to really not recover from it. He'll be absolutely fine. It's just going to be a bit raw for a few days, and then it will start covering up and the fur will start to grow back again. But interesting to see that he's slowly but surely now starting to collect little nicks in the ears and little cuts and scars and scrapes, and eventually, once he's much older, that will be commonplace. So VM is showing you two spider hunting wasps that are busy flying around Hosana there. I don't know if you can see them. They're just busy moving around and kind of flying and buzzing around Hosana's head. But I believe Brent has been successful in finding some spots of his own, so let's go across to him.
We have finally found Amani's twins, and unfortunately for them, I think we arrived just after they had a hard-earned kill. You can see they're quite full, stolen by, of course, the hyenas. There are lots of hyenas here. So the second female's coming through still. She looks a little bit more fat than the other. There she is. So it looks like they made a kill early this morning, and as we arrived, I think the hyenas descended. Before we actually got to them, we saw it at a really long distance. You see where she's looking back towards. If we have a quick look that way, Jahawa, you can see, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hyenas in the distance. There they all are. Some of them, obviously not much of the kill left because the hyenas are already moving off. So unfortunate for these lovely ladies. I think they're going to try now head towards somewhere to have a snooze. Let's just move a little bit quickly. Now there are some other game drive vehicles around here as well. Hi, Lauren, who's in Illinois. Lauren is wondering why there's so many more cheetah in the reserve section rather than the Mara Triangle. Well, a couple of different reasons, Lauren. Firstly, and the strange enough, the most obvious, is that the reserve section is a lot bigger than the triangle. The triangle's 50,000 hectares, whereas the reserve is 110,000 hectares, so twice the size of the triangle. And also, because of the escarpment and the river, it's not very wide, a lot of the triangles, so the density of lines in a very small area can be quite heavy, and where there is here, the lines are a bit more spread out. But I would probably say, and also this area, difficult to say, the lines are more spread out. Quickly across to Tayla.
Hello again, everybody. We're having the most ridiculous morning. Look at what we've got. Look at what we've got. It has been fantastic. A beautiful big tomcat by the looks of it. And the reason why I sent you over, I got you to come over to me so quickly, because it looked like he wanted to hoist his kill. Now, this is the fourth leopard that I've seen in the Mara, and it will most certainly, I think it could be the first male leopard I've seen. I'm just trying to think. Very, very cool. How awesome is this? Let's see, he keeps looking up towards the top of the tree. Now, oh my goodness, it feels like it's been years since I've last seen a leopard, because the Mara has been so exciting. It's just been absolutely incredible. And I can't really say that I've spent too much time with the leopard here, so it really, really is refreshing. There we go, staring up. And he's got beautiful blue eyes. Beautiful. What a stunning cat. I cannot believe that we've managed to get a little gap. Now, I'm just talking quietly because there's quite a few vehicles around here, and I do not want to ruin the beautiful spotted cat sighting with my voice booming over the top of it. I'm sure the guides would get annoyed with me, so I'm just going to try and whisper as whispery as I can get, which is pretty much like everybody talking normally. But a beautiful cat. Doesn't seem to be particularly old. Look how beautiful those teeth are. Very clean, still nice and sharp. No sort of chips out of them, but very, very nice indeed. And there was actually a question from Noel, who was wondering if adult male leopards get blue eyes. Most certainly. Even one of my favorite leopards, Mvula, used to be, well, he's known as the blue-eyed boy. He's a lovely cat, and he's an old fella. So they do indeed. Tumba's also got lovely green blue eyes back in South Africa. So it's actually not as uncommon as you think it is. The more time you spend in the bush, the more leopards you encounter, you'll see that it's a much of a muchness, really. They either have those lovely golden eyes, like our dear Hosana has. He's got the most gorgeous eyes, hasn't he? And then, of course, they can get this. Sometimes they're even a little bit green, but he's got more of a blue tinge to them. What a lovely boy. He's exhausted now. I think it's a wildebeest that he's got. I would assume it's a wildebeest, seen as though there have been so many around, or could be a young buffalo too. There's plenty buffalo around, but I can see a bit of a mane just where he's putting his head. Here we go. Are you going to take it up? Watch this. What is that? It doesn't look like an adult. It looks like a sub-adult, so not a very young one. I'd say something in between, maybe 2 or 3 years old, this wildebeest, so not huge. I think it is a wildebeest. We'll have to see. It doesn't matter what he's eating. Is that the fact that he's caught something is fantastic, and he's got the most perfect tree to take it up. So I hope that he demonstrates his strength and puts it in that top right fork of this beautiful tree. Oh, that'll be so cool. I don't know if we're going to... I mean, how much luck can one person have? I must admit, it's been a bit quiet on the luck side, and I have been very, very patient. And so perhaps Sebastian is my lucky charm. And Sebastian, I think you and I are just going to drive together for the rest of our lives. Because, sorry, Shannon, to Seb's wife, taking him hostage when we go out filming. He's coming with me. We always seem to have the most spectacular sightings together, so it's very, very cool to be sharing this. This is your second leopard, hey Seb? Oh, excuse us, Sebastian's been here a week and he's seen 3 leopards. Nice. No, so Biri Zumi, here's a question that I'm not very comfortable answering just yet, and it is, are the leopards in the Mara bigger than the ones in the Sabi Sand in South Africa? To be honest, I have not seen enough leopards and spent enough time with them to be able to give you an... Ooh, there's a hyena. I think we can go live here. Let's go live. This is very exciting. I'm just going to hold off speaking. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to all of you who have just jumped onto this live broadcast. You would have seen us earlier with the wildebeest crossing, and now we have got more action. We had hyena versus leopard, which is a very cool sighting. It's something that we see on a regular basis in South Africa. However, it's the first time that I've seen it out here in the Mara. How lucky are we today? My name is Tayla, and on camera with me is Sebastian, and this is live, this is interactive, this is happening right now. So send through your comments, and I'd love to have a chat with all of you. Now, that hyena has just moved off. He's just gone around the tree, but maybe he's going to come back in, and it's always very exciting to see the cheeky nature of one of the most intelligent scavengers out here. And also, unfortunately, they have a very bad sort of demeanor about them, hyenas, but they're very, very intelligent, like I said. And that hyena came in, you can see it just running again. Maybe he's going to come back around, try to come in and steal that kill from the leopard. I haven't quite worked out what it is yet. I think it is a wildebeest, a juvenile wildebeest that this leopard has caught, and he was not having any of it. You may have heard hissing, you may have heard the growling. He was not very happy. So what he needs to do now, come on, boy, show us your strength, pick that carcass up and take it up the tree. And leopards not being anywhere near the size of lions, and they worry about other predators taking their kills from him, but he's standing his ground. That's where leopards are lucky. They're the only animal, the only big cat that can take their prey up into a kill. You won't find anyone else doing that. However, you will find lions in trees occasionally trying to steal a leopard's kill if they haven't hidden them well enough in and amongst the branches. But he's panting quite a bit. He's exhausted. Perhaps he's only just recently killed this wildebeest. I didn't see it happen, unfortunately, though the area that he's in is quite dense, so whether we would have got a view, I'm not so sure. I also can't see his belly right now to see if he's actually eaten any of it, and that could be a heavy, heavy object to take up the tree. I'm so sorry, Faith, I could not hear you. Please, can you go again? Michael, you're wondering how old is that leopard? It's difficult to say, but just by looking at him, he's got very neat teeth. You can't see any chips in his teeth. His nose is fairly black. I would say he must be around, I'm guessing now, I don't know the leopards in this area, maybe 6 or 7 years old, somewhere around there. Maybe even a little bit younger, I would say between 5 and 7. So a decent sized boy. He doesn't have too many scars around his face either. You can see just a couple of flies sitting on him at the moment. So I think he's about to come into the prime of his life, or he's in the prime of his life at the moment. It's difficult to age cats when you don't know them. You're just purely having a look at them. And that's what I would say. And he's a beautiful, blue-eyed boy too. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, isn't that lucky? That we have stumbled across this sighting thanks to some of the guides telling us about it just after a wildebeest crossing. Amazing. Now, Naturable, you've said that this leopard's eyes reminds you of a leopard by the name of Mvula. Now, for those of you who have been following the Safari Live show, you'll know we're very lucky in the Sabi Sand in South Africa. It is the home of many, 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 many leopards. And Mvula is an old man that once used to roam and live in the northern Sabi Sand. And he's one of my favorite boys. And he's also got the same sort of blue coloration to his eyes. I was hoping he was going to take this kill up a tree, but he's agitated. See that tail twitching? He's not happy. Oh, he's going to come out. Oh, that's so cool. This is probably the best sighting I've had of a leopard so far in the Masai Mara National Reserve. I have seen 3 other leopards. One was laying in the long grass. And I've got to try and remember all my sightings. And then I had a really good sighting of one. She was just sitting out on the bank, but she was also fast asleep. So not quite as good as the sighting that we're having right now. Oh, wow. We are very, very, very special. Obviously, lions and hyenas are in abundance in this area. They really do thrive. So to see a spotted cat is something sort of worth watching, and he's posing so beautifully too. He's very relaxed around the cars. There are other vehicles, you may be able to hear them starting up every now and then. Perhaps you can hear the chit and chatter and the excitement in the voices of the guests who have travelled from hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away, to come and view the great migration spectacle. And that's great. You've had both this morning, if you have joined us for all our live broadcasts. First the wildebeest crossing, and now this. And I reckon if we're patient enough, he's probably going to take that kill up the tree. Maybe he's just having a little break. You could be quite tired. He's going around again. Please don't go and lay down, boy. Just taking a glance back. He's just going to have a little bit of a rest, having a scratch. There's lots of flies about here too, probably annoying him a bit. Francis, all the way from Israel, you've said, what a sighting. It is indeed. Like I said, I cannot believe how much luck I'm having today. I truly have been extremely lucky after my interesting encounter last night with the thunder and lightning and torrential rain to wildebeest stampeding us. Up he goes. To now a leopard on a kill and a leopard climbing a tree with the most beautiful view. Look at him, how he gracefully scales those branches. He does it with absolute ease. Now he's just got into a bit of a tricky spot where he's gone behind the branches. So I don't know if he carries on climbing up, we should get another view of him. But for now, there's just a few too many vehicles around. Everyone's very excited. We've obviously had a lovely view of him down on the ground, and it's only fair to let everybody have a chance. But that's so cool. You can just see him moving. He's still a bit agitated. It's not with us, though. It's that hyena that's been pestering him. And I saw a few other hyenas just behind us, and they look like they had a stomach of something. Now, yesterday, Sebastian and up he goes, we found a giraffe carcass. So I wonder if those hyenas had been scavenging around on that. I don't think it has come from the wildebeest. And now he sits right in the tops of the trees. Imagine if we had just driven past you and he was up on the top and there were no other vehicles that had seen him before. He would be completely invisible, hiding amongst those branches. Very cool. But I think he's going to have a rest for now, but he better be careful, because if those hyenas come back, they are going to snatch up that carcass. Very, very, very cool, don't you think, to have seen so many amazing things. Sebastian's head is just doing this, just nodding away. Amazing. Right. So I think this leopard is going to take a break. I think he's going to groom himself in the tops of the tree. We're going to reposition around and see if we can get a better view. And if he decides to hoist his kill, keep an eye out for those live notifications, because we most certainly will bring you that amazing scene. So from Seb and I, we'll hopefully catch you soon.
I want to check that.
Deep breath, Tayla, deep breath. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You know how I said that, I said to myself that I was going to whisper because I didn't want to disturb anybody. That lasted, what, a whole of about 3 seconds before my voice boomed across the sighting. I tried my absolute hardest, though. How great was that, though? I'm sure all of you, though, while I was sitting quietly, how amazing was that interaction with the hyena? That hyena was very brave, racing on in. That's a big tomcat, too. That's not a small leopard. I would say he's probably around the size of what... maybe a bit bigger than Quarantine is at the moment. I'm just trying to sort of put him... like I said, I think he's between about 5 and 7 years old or so. Somewhere around there. Probably a bit on the younger side. But he is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful cat. But he's right up at the top now. I can't believe he didn't take his kill up. Even if he just wedged it, a couple of meters off the ground, at least he could... groom himself and rest peacefully, knowing that that he's still going to have a meal. Because down on the ground like this, it's a big risk. Although, I reckon if that hyena comes in, he's probably going to dart down those branches and chase that hyena off. But very, very, very cool. Very exciting, this side of the river, isn't it? Whew, very cool. Well, I'm going to take a breath and have a sip of water, because my mouth feels like the Sahara Desert at the moment from all the talking. Brent has got a different kind of a spotted cat.
Well, welcome back. We're still with the two Amani twins. Now, they're still on the move. That big group of hyenas that chased them off their kill is still coming. So they're just trying to create a bit of distance between themselves and the hyenas. Well, two of the hyenas are still hot on their trail. And speaking of getting hot, I think today is going to be a stinker. It is getting very, very hot very quickly this morning. So I think these girls will probably rest up in the first bit of shade. Now, as I said, they're quite full. They're not starving. So I've changed my plan a little bit. Today I was actually, if we found them and they were hungry, we're going to spend the whole day with them. But I think I'll definitely flop down and not move till this afternoon, and probably quite late this afternoon. As I say, this kill looks quite fresh. So you can see carefully a little bit of blood on them, on their faces. So that kill was very, very, very recent. Now, jogging away from the hyenas. Oh, chasing testiculars. No, I was sorry, I apologize profusely. It was a button quail that they chased. Now, they might climb the nice big termite mound, but I don't think so with the hyenas putting pressure on them. Oh, this is a dangerous area. I see some more aardvark holes around. She stopped to look on top of the termite mound. Well, one has, at least. While the hyenas are probably about 150 meters behind us. Now, of course, this area is got such a high density of predators. And not only are the hyenas often harassing these beautiful cheetah in this area, there's the Mara River Pride of lions that is also around frequently, and we've actually seen them chase these two girls before. I don't think she's going to last too long on top of that termite mound with her sister disappearing smartly. So they've only been independent from their mother since about July. So they're still hanging on to those cub bonds, keeping them together. But eventually they will go their separate ways once they start mating and looking for boys. There's the second female on top of another termite mound. having a look what's about. You can see she's already breathing quite heavily. It's hot. She's got quite a full belly. Oh, I can't see where the hyenas are. I think they're actually behind us. Hi, Ryan. Ryan's wondering if these two cheetah came across some prey, would they hunt and kill again? Not while these hyena are trailing them. I've seen them do this often when there's hyena around. They don't hunt, and they sort of hunker down, try hide from the hyena. But once they manage to get rid of the hyena, then they definitely would try again, especially if something inadvertently walked up to them while it was during the day. If there's an impala or Thompson's gazelle happened to bound up to them. Oh, I lost a cheetah. See, that's the thing. You look away for 1 minute and then she's gone. So we've still got the one on top of the termite mound next to us. The other one's obviously gone down. I wonder if she's going to head towards that island of trees up ahead. Now you're going to go join your sister. There are some ellies around as well. Toby's wondering, are they identical twin cheetah? Toby, I don't think so. They do have they are twins. They're from the same litter. However, they will have unique spots. They are not identical twins at all. There's elephants, which means I don't think the cheetah's going to move that way too much. So I think she's probably going to head towards those trees in the distance and find a nice shady spot, or hide behind one of these termite mounds and try to get out of the hyena's sight. Out of hyena sight, out of hyena mind. And there's quite a lot of, and you see where she's looking now, there's quite a lot of game behind there. Impala, giraffe, topi. DB staff's wondering, how far can cheetah see? Do they have good eyesight? They have very good eyesight, and they'll pick up movement from a couple of 100 meters, probably, maybe even as far as a kilometer away. So they have very, very good eyesight. There you go. You can see there's lots of giraffe on the island, and also some impala. But before they try hunt again, they're definitely going to try shake their hyena tail. See where the hyena tail has gone. I think it's behind us somewhere close, but I can't see them. Now, what will often happen with hyenas is they might just lie down, and where the cheetah can't see them, see, there we go, that's a little jog. I think the hyena might have laid down, so she's trying to use this time to gap it to where the hyenas can't see her. Now, as I say, we can't see where the other is. I think she's just behind the other termite mound. So trying to stay out of sight of the hyenas. So it's getting hot very quickly today, so I don't think these cheetah are going to move too much. As soon as they can get rid of their hyena escort, I think that'll be snooze time. I think we're going to meander on down towards the crossings, have a look for the Paradise Pride. Maybe we'll get lucky with the legendary Scarface and his musketeer buddies. I don't know, and who knows, maybe we'll get as lucky as Tayla and find another leopard. But we're going to wait and see. I think we'll definitely come back this afternoon to this area to check on her, check on these two. But there you go. Till then, we're going to keep meandering on, and it sounds like Tristan is doing the same. We're going to leave sleepy cats and go see if we can find some awake ones.
Well, we are just driving around and trying to see what else we can find, and we stopped here because the birds were going crazy, and VM said he saw a slender mongoose that ran into this little thicket. So I was just trying to see if maybe it would pop out somewhere that we could see it, but slender mongoose generally are quite nervous, shy creatures, and so I don't know, with such thick dense grass here, they're going to probably hide away very, very quickly. Now we've also left Hosana. He's sleepy. I don't think he's opened his eyes since you last saw us. He was really very tired, and so we've left him to have some of the other vehicles to give a chance for them to go and see what's going on and get a little look at Hosana. And well, we're just going to meander around and see what else there is. I know that there was some elephants seen at one point somewhere in this general vicinity, so I'm trying to see if I can find tracks for them or any sign of them that will help me in being able to locate where they've gone. Now I believe that they were somewhere here where we are now, going southwards. So I just wanted to check Vulture's Nest. There's nothing on Vulture's Nest coming out there, so maybe, just maybe, they're still lurking somewhere in this general area at the moment. Could also, of course, be heading down towards Gari Dam. Maybe they're going to go down for a little drink there. It's not very hot weather, so I don't think they're going to be that desperate for water, but you never know. Also, the direction that they've come from is from Buffelshoek Dam side, so they probably had water there already at some point, and maybe now it's just about feeding and they're heading along towards the Mulawati to try and find food. But I still don't see any sign of their tracks anywhere here, so maybe they are a little bit further in front. They might be right up against this drainage section. I definitely don't see any elephants, that's for sure, and it's been a long time since I have seen elephants. It's been very, very quiet on the elephant front. It's weird how we go through these phases where you can't find an elephant for anything, and then all of a sudden there'll be so many elephants here you can't drive a road without seeing an elephant. It's strange how that happens. It's amazing just how transient they are and how they all seem to kind of move at the similar times. What's this? No, still no elephant tracks that I can see. I don't know where they must have gone. Let's maybe just check towards Gari Cutline now. If there's nothing, we might go back along Vulture's Nest and just try and turn off and listen, because the nice thing about elephants, unlike a lot of the other animals, is they generally make a lot of noise. And when I say making noise, it's more in the way that they feed, so lots of branches breaking and cracking. Even though there's a bit of green grass that's growing, it's still a little short for the elephants to get their trunk around, and so they'll still be breaking branches and making some sort of noise, and you can then pick them up via that rather than anything else. But hang on a second, what looks like a paw print also on the road here, which is worth checking as well. I think it's a hyena track, but I just want to double check. Yes, it is hyenas, so it's got that angled foot. When the leopards, they'll walk dead straight, and the hyenas are splayed out like that. So as soon as you see that angle on it, you know straight away that it's them, and also those banana-shaped toes. So not very fresh either. It looks like tracks from probably 2 days ago, or not last night, the night before. No elephants around this area either. I don't see any tracks for them. I don't know, maybe these are mystery elephants and they've flown. Maybe Dumbo's in town and decided to get out his ears and fly over the roads. I believe that the dam cam at the moment's not working, otherwise I would ask everybody if they maybe saw them. So we're gonna go and check the dam ourselves just in case they are there. Now Izzy, you say it's amazing how everything at Djuma looks like it's coming to life, and you can really now see the green starting to come through. It's amazing, isn't it, how in the last week it's changed from this very brown, kind of sandy, desolate place to now lots of vibrance and green and colors starting to come through, and the green grass is that vivid, bright green at the moment. So it really is very beautiful, and it's amazing to watch this process of change, and I really hope that we get a little bit more rain to complete the whole metamorphosis and to see everything starting to green up again. It certainly gives a lot more beauty to the area, even though I know the brown is, some people like it, and the game viewing tends to be better, but it is really beautiful when it's green out here and there's birds and there's insects and it's lush and pretty. That to me is always very special as well. So I'm hoping that we will get a bit more rain soon and things do come alive a little bit more. But I was talking about the dam cam prior to that, and I was saying that it's not working at the moment, but don't fear, Peter is here and he is going to be on it the whole morning, so hopefully the new dam cam will be sorted at some point during the day today. In fact, I even see Peter might be working on it right now, given that there is a ladder that is at the dam. So I don't see Peter himself. Actually, I do see Peter. Let's go and say hello to Peter, because he's right there working on the dam cam. He can give us a little wave. There he is, working ever so diligently, should we say. There we go. He's giving us a wave over there. So there's Peter working on the dam cam. For those of you that are missing the dam cam, there's a brand new one, a new microphone, and hopefully it's going to be all very wonderful and going to work incredibly well. So the idea is that it is going to work nicely, and Peter assures me that it's a very interesting piece of equipment and very technical, and it all is much better. And exactly, as VM suggests, it even has a little windscreen wiper on the lens so that it can wipe rain off the lens, which is pretty cool. So I don't know how it works, whether it's remote controlled windscreen wiper or if it's got a sensor on it or we have to push the button. I don't know yet, but really cool nonetheless, and I'm hoping that it's going to be much better, and hopefully the sound is going to be better, and so I'm sure all of you are looking forward to it as well. Right, now while I kind of look around for these mystery elephants, I believe that Scotty D is still sitting with those beautiful spotted cats, and I'm really glad to hear that they're all back together. Now, I believe apparently we didn't go to Scott, so it seems as though there's a few gremlins down that side of the world where Scotty is and where those 5 cheetah brothers are. But like I was saying, really nice to hear that they're all back together again. I know there was some concern about why the 5 were separated, and I actually spoke to a friend of mine that is in the Mara at the moment, and he said they saw that those cheetah were being chased around by lions a few days ago, and he was saying that the lions were relentless. They just kept going on and on and on and chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing and carrying on and trying to kind of push these cheetah about, and maybe that's why they picked up injuries and separated a little bit. But it sounds like all is positive, and I'm sure that the limps that they've got will eventually ease away and they'll be okay. Given that there's 5 of them, at least they'll be able to provide for one another. So nice to see that they're all together. And I think if I went to the Mara, besides Scar, those would be the things I would love to see the most, is those 5 boys. They just seem so epic and such good value in terms of the way that they go about things and the way that they move around and hunt together. They just seem like the most amazing thing, and I've never had experience of seeing big coalitions of cheetah, so it would just be fascinating from a learning point of view to go there and see those guys moving around. Right, now it sounds like Scott's issues are all sorted out and that his gremlins have been blown away and kicked away, and so let's go back to him and see what those 5 cheetah are up to.
Hello everyone. Now, I made a massively rookie move when I first arrived at this sighting. I assumed all 5 of the musketeers were here because they were all piled up, but having a closer inspection you can see that there's only 4. So that means yet again one of the members is missing, and I'm convinced now that that individual is snuck off to do some mating. All of the kind of behavior that we've seen is steering towards that to be the reason why they've split up a couple of times in the last 72 hours, the reason that they've been fighting with something, in all likelihood one another, and we know that because they're all limping quite a bit. And another reason, one of the main reasons for me, is that these animals have been in such a small area. Usually they would travel 5 to 10 miles every day, but for the last 72 hours or last 3 or 4 days, they've been in the same kind of square mile or 2. Interesting stuff. I need to try and get some pictures to identify them, to work out if the individual that's missing today is the same individual that was missing the day before yesterday, and I do have all of their kind of spot patterns. I got them from the researcher yesterday, and I'm busy learning how to best identify these individuals. It's not easy, it's going to take some time, but I am going to start making a concerted effort to be able to distinguish them. And you can do that by looking at their spots. They've all got very different spots, but for our eyes, it's difficult to notice those differences unless you're looking on very specific places, possibly on the front leg, back leg, or inner leg, sometimes the face. They all do have their own little unique things, and it's actually really interesting how different they all are once you do start taking a closer look. Now it is heating up quite a bit, so I'm guessing they may move and head off into some shade in those nearby bushes. This is the most movement we've seen from them since we arrived about an hour ago. Hello, OD Farming. You'd like to know if all male cheetah will form coalitions. And no, that's not the case. Sorry if you can hear hitting noises. It's me trying to hit a fly off my head. No, often you do get solitary males. I think it's about 50-50. There's no set rules. Sometimes brothers will split up. Sometimes they will stay together. Then you get situations like this where in all likelihood different sets of brothers joined up. Maybe two groups of two and one individual, or a group of two and three different sets of brothers. We are not quite certain how this coalition is made up. What is useful to know is that to have a coalition as big as 5 is not very common. More often than not, they're kind of 2 or 3 strong. And as you can see, they're all looking very friendly with one another now, but that's probably because there's not a lady on the scene. When there is, and when she's in season, they will act very differently. Oh, there is a 5th one. Thanks, Luigi. I'm not sure how many of you guys spotted that one hiding behind the bush. And thanks, guys. Thanks to all of the viewers out there who spotted it before I did. Jeez, well, there, it blows that theory, well, at least one portion of my theory out the window. The fact does remain the same, though, that they have been fighting, they are all limping, and they have stayed in a very, very small area, and it doesn't look to me like they are full-bellied. So it's not that they had a big meal last night and they didn't want to walk very far. Sorry about that. I was quite excited about the fact that there was only 4. I was hoping there was going to be another search and rescue mission, possibly be there to see them reunite. Oh well. Interesting stuff. And I'm very happy to see that they are starting to roll around a bit more. Like I said, I'm a bit concerned that it may just be that they're getting a bit warm and they're going to move off into the shade. Yes, Layla, peekaboo. What a pleasant surprise. Now, what's interesting, and I've been chatting with Ferg, who I'm teamed up today on camera, and usually in my time with these males, if they usually go to sleep in the morning at around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. They kind of become inactive, usually until around 5 or 5:30 in the evening. However, because they haven't been very active over the last 72 hours, be it because they're all a little bit injured and it's too sore to walk far, or that there's a lady here that's keeping them nearby, I'm just interested to know if they aren't going to be more active during the midday hours, because they, I'm guessing, have been fairly inactive at night, because we literally left them about 500 meters away. Ferg, let's just show everyone where exactly we left the cheetah. So at 11 o'clock there, down by that kind of single tree down in the lugger. So yeah, somewhere down there, so not too far away. As you can see, there is lots of prey around for them. Lots of wildebeest and zebra dotting the the plains. How beautiful is that? So that's where they were yesterday, not too far away at all, and they just took a short stroll up the hill to where they are now. Hello, Ramit. You would like to know how many days have we been following these cheetah? Well, I mean, the last stint, we arrived on Monday evening, spent some time with them, realized that there was only 4. Then Tuesday morning, we met up with them, and that was yesterday, we spent the whole day from about 9 o'clock until 7 o'clock yesterday evening, and then we joined them again about an hour ago. So the last 3 days, we spent a decent amount of time with them. Sadly, we haven't seen a huge amount of interactions or action. Oh, we need to rush you off to Tayla. Quick, quick.
Which one? Hello again, everybody. I'm trying to multitask at the moment. Our friend, the hyena, is back, and I was also first aiding myself. So I'm going to try and tape my fingers together during the sighting. Look at this. So our leopard is still up in the tree and has not reacted to this hyena dragging away at its meal, but it is nervous. Look at its behavior. Stopping, pulling, stopping, looking around. You better be careful, because if that leopard comes down, hyena, it is going to chase you away. And you won't see him just yet. He'll eventually come down. He's starting to shuffle a bit on the branches. He's just grooming his paws at the moment. And I don't think he's going to tolerate it. He would not like, especially the fact that he's put all that effort in to take down such a large prey species. They're not going to let it go to the hyena. Eventually, I'm so sorry, would you like to see me taping my fingers? I'm injured. Cripple. I can't carry on anymore. You're going to have to feed me to the hyena. Is he coming down? Is he? Oh, she's dragging. It is a wildebeest. Actually a little bit older than I suspected. That's a big meal. And it looks like that leopard has actually eaten some of it. Now I can actually see what's going on. Earlier we could not really see anything at all, the way it was hiding behind the bushes. And now that hyena is going to tear into it and take as many chunks as it possibly can before that leopard decides that it wants its kill back. It's not uncommon, though, to see leopards and hyenas sharing kills. I've actually seen it a number of different times, and they'll quite happily just sit and feast upon the carcass. Sometimes it's really just not worth it, and for the leopard to chase it away, because they will just pester the leopards all the time. They go on and on and on and on and on. They do not stop, which can be a bit of a nuisance. So sometimes they just accept the fact that they're not going to be able to take their kill up a tree quick enough and go about it. So now I'm thinking, when did this leopard kill this wildebeest? Maybe early this morning, possibly. Maybe that's what happened. But it is quite funny to watch hyenas when they're nervous like this. Look at that behavior. Beautiful big ears, listening for the slightest crack on the branch. Knows that the leopard is up in the tree. It most certainly does. So they're not stupid creatures, as we know. We know how clever a hyena is. Well played, hyena. Well played. But eat, because that leopard's going to not tolerate you for too much. Like, or maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe that leopard's gone, you know what, I was actually done with it anyway. You can have it. You have the rest. But I would love to see him charging down. He's starting to shuffle slightly. I just see the leaves moving in the big tree that he's sitting in. They're moving around. Are you going to stand up? You've got to be careful. I suppose you can't just jump too quickly, because the branches don't look to be too sturdy. Louise has just said, so for those of you who've just joined us and maybe don't know who Louise is, she's not an imaginary person. She's directing the show today from South Africa, and she says that hyena looks like her when she's trying to steal snacks from Amanda. You know, when you walk into the kitchen and you smell something absolutely delicious and you go, oh, please, can I have a taste? The chefs always say no, so you've just got to take what you can get. In and out. I agree with you, Louise. That's exactly what I would do too. Yay, and I've successfully first aided myself. Look at me go. That training did come in handy. You know what I mean? I'll just tape 2 of my fingers together. They're very sore, but I'll be okay. Also put some, I don't know, some like anti-inflammatory gel. That's what I'm talking about on my fingers too. Louisa said our first aid level 3. I wish. Okay. We had gaffer tape on them earlier. You may have seen the black tape around my fingers. We didn't know what to do, so we just quickly we just taped them together because we were sliding all over the road, and Sebastian was sick of listening to me whine. I'll stop whining now. I'll be a big girl. But very cool. Munching away. So Seb, that must have been the stomach that we saw in the water. So when we first came around the corner and we arrived at the sighting, we saw a massive stomach, and I'd said that I thought maybe the giraffe kill is not too far away from here. I thought that perhaps the hyenas had been scavenging around here and dragging bits and pieces of the giraffe, but it seems as though I was incorrect, so my apologies. It was most certainly the stomach from this wildebeest, and I presume it was the hyenas that actually stole it. It was left on the ground, and while the male leopard was defending the prized possession of the kill, the hyenas took what they could get and dragged it off to the side. But now they're tucking into the prized possession, and they can quickly demolish a carcass, and taking advantage of there being some flesh on it. We know that hyenas have got incredible digestive systems, and they can chomp on bone and all wonderful things like that. But when they don't have to, they won't. Mr. P, you're wondering if this hyena is then scared of this leopard? I wouldn't say scared. I would say wary. Hyenas, I feel like hyenas are not scared of anyone or anything. It's honestly and truly incredible the way that they just dismiss sort of any negativity that's put towards them. I always say I love the attitude of a hyena. I mean, a lion will chase them and they'll go, okay, cool, great game. I'm going to come back and I'm going to try again. So I love that determination that they have. They don't take no for an answer. So it's just watching out, because a leopard could kill a hyena quite easily, and this hyena does not want to sacrifice itself for, a meal when there's plenty of food around. It's not like there's a shortage at the moment, especially with the wildebeest coming back. So it's just being careful. It doesn't want to injure itself. And very clever, very wise, but is still going to try and munch and eat his... Here you go. Here, the leopard is now he's now sitting. Are you going to come down? He wants to. He's looking down at that hyena. You need to have a look. See, he's looking down. The hyena actually took a couple of steps away from the carcass. He knows exactly what's going on. You can just see spots completely camouflaged amongst the tops of the trees. Just as leopards are. Their rosettes are fantastic for that. Spots are a common trend out here in the bush. You careful where you drag that. I can't believe it. Even the vultures are coming in now. You can see a couple of cars. I can just hear the flapping of the wings. So that's amazing. So much life is around this little area today. Just landing on top of the tree. Obviously waiting for an opportunity to go down and feed. Fantastic camera work, Sebastian. Really, really, really cool. For all of you at home, I think Sebastian needs a round of applause. So in 3, 2, 1, I should hear you clapping now. Oh, can I snap my fingers for you? Does that count? Doing the delay test this morning was quite funny, because the directors count 1, 2, 3, and then we have to clap on 3 to see what the delay is between South Africa and Kenya. And I couldn't do that this morning. Everybody laughed at me, and yes, it was pretty embarrassing. So Sebastian did my checks for me today as well. So the hyena has now dragged that carcass quite a distance away from the tree and has now run off in the opposite direction. Are you going to go and call in the reinforcements? Where did you go? Because I'm still watching. Our leopard is just sort of scanning about. He's now, he's sitting up. He's looking around, but he doesn't seem to be making a move. I wonder if he's just tired of this kill now. Sorry, I'm also shuffling in my seat, just trying to get a better spot. Look around, see what's happening. All the birds are also starting to chirp. You can hear a turtle dove singing his tune. Sounds like there's one trying to do a bit of courtship. Probably shouting to the leopard, work harder, work harder. And the leopard's probably going, I need more lager, I need more lager, after taking down that animal. Fair enough, leopard, you deserve it. He doesn't look impressed, though. He's got a... Yeah, no, he's back down again. Goodness, careful you don't plop too hard, my friend. You're going to end up snapping the branches and tumbling down to the ground. What a great sighting. Very nice. Right, so we've got spots in the Mara. We've had different types of spots everywhere. We're going from a cheetah to a leopard. Let's go back to Tristan with Hosana.
Well, no, not Hosana. We are at a termite mound, but we have something else that is lurking on our termite mound, and it is an interesting little thing, and something that is not very easily seen. But if you look in the hole right in the middle of the termite mound, you will see a tiny little face poking out, and that is of a giant plated lizard that is busy watching us. So there it is, coming out slowly but surely, just trying to get a bit of sunshine in order to warm itself up. But how cool is that? This little guy is just kind of looking out and staring out of the little hole, and they'll use these when the termites leave as a place to be able to settle down and to be safe. And much like we see the hyenas using it as a den site, well, it's a perfect place for lizard and snakes as well. So this little guy is just sitting there, and he's been very cooperative. We've been sitting with it for about 15 minutes and it hasn't moved at all. It hasn't gone in. There's a few ants crawling around, and it's just kind of watching us from the safety of its little burrow. So really, really cool to see, and it just goes to show that sometimes you've got to look a little bit closer and a little bit deeper into the bush to see things, and that there is always life all around us. But it has been the most ridiculous morning, with all kinds of spots and predators and all kinds of things happening. And well, our lizard is a little cherry on top for us here at Djuma. We don't see these guys that often. To the west of us in near Elephant Plains, and just south of that there's a rocky section where there's lots of giant plated lizards there, or plated lizards in general, and so it's nice to see them this side. Because we don't have many rocks, we don't see that many, and there's one or two that will live in termite mounds like this, and that's always very pleasant. Luckily it's chosen this mound and not the mound where the hyenas are, otherwise it would have a very tough time of it, because those little baby hyenas would chase it around all over the place. So luckily this guy has chosen a nice clean mound where there's no other competition. But we are going to leave our lizard, who's still sitting there. That lizard has decided it's not moving at all today. Maybe it's a little bit cool for it, and that's why it's still building up body temperature before it starts getting going. And while we kind of leave that lizard, we're going to head towards the hyena den. We're not far from the hyena den at all. In fact, the hyena den is just on the other side here, and we're just going to check if there's any sign of activity and if the little ones are maybe out. Given that it was a coolish morning, I'm hoping that we have a situation where they are out now that it's warming up a little bit. Now, I believe a lot of you enjoyed our lizard. Well, I thought it was quite cool as well. Like I say, it's not something we see every day, and between the crocodile and its eggs and this little lizard, the reptilian side of the community or the animals this morning have also come out and shown themselves. So we've been spoiled this morning. It's been really a crazy drive in all facets. There's been something for everyone, really. Well, I think at least. I hope so. Now, hopefully our hyenas will be here, and then there will be a cute side to the morning of the hyenas and not the robbery. Yes, I can see a hyena already. So there is hyenas at the den, which is fantastic news. It looks like Gwen is sleeping right out in the open. I can just see Gwen. I don't see any sign of the little ones yet. Oh wait, there is a little one there. I'm just going to try and park in a way. Or is this Ribbon here? This is Ribbon and Intima that we've got actually sitting here by the looks of it. Things, yes, Ribbon and Intima that are in front of me at the moment. So Gwen is not here that I can see. Maybe she's lying around the corner, but you can see that she's flat and sleeping, and Intima is still curled up and suckling. So if you thought Intima wasn't suckling, she still is at this stage. She'll be slowly but surely being weaned off now, but she still is getting milk from the mother. So quite cool to see the hyenas still here and still using this den site. I personally think this is my favorite den site of all the den sites we've had this year so far, and the one off Philemon's is nice, and so is the one off Gallagher's Shortcut, but this particular one is the most scenic of the dens that we have in this area. It's nice and open, and it allows us to be able to get really nice views of the hyenas. Now, if Gwen is here, then the little ones will be around the corner. Unfortunately, where these guys are lying means that I can't go any further than this. I don't want to chase them at all. I want them to rest and relax. I'm sure it's been a long night of patrolling around looking for food, and Intima, you can see, is busy having a little suckle, and so I don't really want to disturb them at all. I don't want a situation where they have to get up and move just so we can see the others. So we'll just park off here, and hopefully the little ones will be curious enough to try and come around and come and see where we are. But that little one is perfectly positioned for a cold morning, tucked up right against mom, so it's getting not only a bit of body warmth, but it's also getting food and breakfast by being able to suckle. And so it's just perfect, but it's unfortunately getting a little bit too large to lie nicely. You can see it's almost not fitting between the legs now, and so time suckling is going to be very, very, very little now, unfortunately. I think it's going to be weaned off fairly quickly over the next few weeks. Mr. P, you're asking where are other types of hyena species found? Well, here in the Sabi Sands there is recorded case of a brown hyena. So I think it was on Gowrie, Maine, maybe I think Peter Pretorius was the one that saw it, but there was a brown hyena seen, I think it was 2009 or 2000, yeah, somewhere around there. 2009 is when it was seen. So they used to occur quite a lot in the Kruger Park region, but unfortunately they've pretty much disappeared, and it may be competition from all the other predators out here has not been good. But brown hyenas generally in more arid areas, so there are a lot in a reserve called Pilansberg. There's a lot down in the Kalahari area. You see them in that section. There's also aardwolf, which is part of the hyena family, down in the Kalahari sections as well, where it's dry and arid. Then you get a striped hyena. Now striped hyenas you see in East Africa, so up in Kenya you do get them. I've seen one in the Savo region of Kenya. I don't know if you get them in the Mara. I don't think so. I can't remember now, but I don't think they occur there. I think they occur more towards the sort of eastern side of Kenya, but there's striped hyenas in that part of the world. And that's it really. There's no other hyenas that I can think of anywhere else in South Africa, and most definitely not in South Africa. It's just the aardwolf and the spotted and brown hyenas that we get here. Right, well, we're going to sit here for a little bit longer, see if the little cubs come out. And so while we do that, I believe I'm linking to somebody. I have no idea who. I wasn't really paying attention too much. Sorry, Louise. And so hopefully it will be somebody interesting.
Well, there we go. We're on the banks of the murderous Mara River, just below cul-de-sac crossing. And as you can see, what lies in wait for any poor unsuspecting wildebeest or zebra that tries to cross the river in this section. There are a huge amount of crocodiles all lying along the bank. Now, they're more round the corner as well. So we're busy searching the croton thickets on the edge. Oh, there's a big one. Now, I know Tayla found a crocodile nest this morning as well. So there are lots of nests around, and I think we're probably going to get them hatching in the next... what month are we in now? November? Yeah, November. Early November, the babies should start hatching. So we're opposite the triangle now. So an area we don't actually get to too often. So it's going to be quite, that's why we decided to spend the whole day out. Check around here. Often we see the Paradise Pride from the river cams, or they're on the no off-roading side in the triangle. So we're going to keep cruising along. The big rain last night has made them a little bit easier to find because of the wet, so we should hopefully see tracks. And we're also going to check, see if there's any wildebeest possibly coming towards any of the crossing points. Cul-de-sac is looking very, very quiet at the moment. Unfortunately, not even a duk-duk around, apart from those crocodiles. But it is an absolutely gorgeous day, and who knows what we're going to find. I'm feeling a little bit of Taylor's luck hopefully rubbing off on us, and we'll find a leopard along the river in this area as well. And you can see only our tracks on the road. We're the only people who've been into this area this morning. Now, when it rains, this area does become quite muddy, so you have to be a little bit of adventurous to get here, which of course we are. We don't mind a little bit of mud. So after all this rain, it's incredible. We had all this rain in the northern section of the Mara last night, and down where Tayla and Scott have been, there was actually very little rain early on, and we'll see what happens now. I seem to be swiping off the road to look at tracks, but it was a hyena. Be doing doing some slipping and sliding, and I will aim not to be the chairman or king of the Marshmallow Society today, although I think I'm in the area where the best chance of joining the Marshmallow Society is. For those of you who might be new and don't know about what the Marshmallow Society or the Marshmallow Club is, Jamie is presently queen of the Marshmallow Society. It is the person who got stuck the most recently. And so, of course, I have been stuck, but I wasn't stuck most recently. I think Tayla McCurdy is the next person to join the Marshmallow Society. Oh! Okay, while I get through this little muddy patch, let's go back across to Scotty D and the Five Musketeers.
Well, I think we are all going to have our chance to be the leader of the Marshmallow Club, because it is certainly going to get very, very swampy in the coming weeks as it gets wetter into the short rains of Kenya. So the Musketeer Coalition seem like they are quite relaxed for this morning. The plan is, I am concerned that they may get active during the day. I've just got this funny feeling they're going to. So Ferg and I are going to head back to Ol Shaiki, a wonderful camp that puts us up when we are cross-searching for cheetah in and around the reserve, which is the opposite side of the Mara River to where our camp is, and plug our vehicle on charge, get a few snacks, and come back out much earlier on this afternoon, and that way just try and increase our chances of not missing any action as and when it unfolds. And then we'll probably stay into the night, at least for a couple of hours, try and stay with them and try and work out what exactly is keeping them in this area and what is going on when they are more active. I'm sure we're going to get some interesting stuff. So let's hope it doesn't get rainy and stormy tonight like it has been for the last 2 or 3 nights, because that does make things complicated. It's hard enough following these animals after dark without any extra complications. However, our newly designed and well-fitted rain covers with little peepholes for filming out of should allow us to still keep up with the action, in theory. Very, very wonderful. Now I'm guessing by the time we get back they may well have relocated into a shady spot nearby, but there's quite a few vehicles that I'm sure will be spending time with them during the day. They're a very popular go-to for all of the guides here for obvious reasons. Like I said, we're going to head off. Be sure to follow Facebook notifications because we will be out a little bit earlier than this afternoon's sunset safari, so who knows what may happen. You don't want to miss out on any action then. For now, though, you're going to be heading back to Tristan at the Hyena Den.
We are still at the Hyena Den, and well, not much has changed. It's a sleepy morning, and I suppose the weather conditions are perfect for it to be a sleepy kind of day where people can, well, not people, but hyenas can have a good rest and enjoy the overcast, cool weather, not have to find shade like those 5 cheetah brothers will have to during the day today, unless this, of course, all clears up like it did yesterday, in which case they will have to actively seek some sort of shade, and you'll find probably Djuma goes into the den site itself, into the termite mound, and Ribbon will probably go off somewhere else and go and lie down. Now, there's no sign of the other little ones. I've tried to kind of poke my nose forward a little bit further just so I can see around the side of the termite mound, but there's no sign of them. I can't see any sort of movement there, so I think they must be inside still, or they might be lying with Gwen, but on the other side of the mound itself. But because of where Ribbon and Tima are, there's no point in really disturbing them any further than what there is, so it's pretty very much alright. I believe that the little ones were seen, I think it was yesterday morning that they were seen, or the morning before, I can't remember now, but they were seen, so they are doing fine and they are growing really well, and so there's no real worry as to where they are and what they're actually up to. They're probably just maybe having a little rest in this bad weather that we're having. And I can tell you one thing, that both of these hyenas I don't think have even flicked an ear in the entire time we've been here. They really are fast asleep at the moment. It's nice to see them though. It's always good to have a bit of time with hyenas. I like spending time with hyenas, and maybe it's because they were all down towards where Shadow and Cub and Hosana was yesterday. We did see 5 different hyenas down that area, and I'm not sure if they were ID'd and who they actually were, but the interesting thing is from there they went north from Treehouse Dam in sort of northwesterly direction. So I'm going to go and check around, I think, in the next couple of days, and go and check that den site off Zoe's Road and just see, maybe, you never know, maybe Pretty or Madam or some of them are around that area, and try and see if maybe there's another den site on Djuma somewhere now that this one is over here. Right, it sounds like Tayla Mac is having the morning of her life and is still enjoying the spots in a tree.
So we're still sitting with our beautiful tomcat who's bouncing around on the bushes at the moment. He's very uncomfortable. He's hot. I think the bugs are bothering him. He doesn't seem to have a very good spot up there. I'm hoping if we sit here for long enough, eventually he's going to climb down the tree, but maybe not. He has got a full belly now that he has revealed himself, so, nothing may come of this either. He might just rest up. But we most certainly will come back past here this afternoon, and hopefully he'll still be around for the sunset safari. So I'm going to try and do some digging and figure out which male leopard this is, but maybe some of you can help me do that. If you'd like to, we try and figure out exactly who this is. You've all taken some wonderful screenshots, and I hope that you've shared them around. Remember to always hashtag Safari Live, and then we can go back and look. I tried to take 1 or 2 pictures of him, but unfortunately I didn't get any good ones, and so I look forward to seeing them. If we've got any clear views of his face, we can use his spot pattern, we can use his eye color, maybe he's got any notches. Like I said, his teeth look pretty clean, so I don't think they will help us. But we'll have a look around and maybe look on the various Mara groups for leopards. Maybe he's got a profile. Maybe we've seen him before, which would be quite cool. So I'll have a little bit of a chance to dig today. It seems as though the crossings have subsided for the moment too. Everything is all very calm around the Mara River, which is unusual, especially after this morning. But I thought, we've had such a spectacular day. I don't know how we're going to top this, Sebastian. I really don't know how we're going to pull something else out of our sleeve, starting off with lions on a kill, most gorgeous golden light jumping over water, and then of course a crossing crocodile guarding her nest, and then a leopard with hyena interaction, and the odd vulture. Not so bad, hey? Pretty successful day in the Mara. This is probably a good Wednesday morning, yes. A wacky Wednesday. Haha. So yes, I suppose it was very cool, very nice. And hopefully our friend is going to wake up. Although maybe he's done with this carcass now. Maybe he's decided that's it. I can hear the vultures flapping around. They're flying about. I wonder if there's any more hyenas, sort of just laying low, hiding under the shrubbery. She hasn't come back for that kill either. Dragged it, 30, 40 meters away from the base of the tree and is now completely gone. Should we go look at that stomach quickly, Seb? Yeah, we're going to quickly, I'm going to just remove us. Oh, all the vehicles. Lots and lots. Quickly come have a look here. Because he doesn't look like he's going to get up to much. Is it still here? Is it gone? Gone? No, surely not. Oh, I cannot believe that. The vultures eat it. There was an entire... Oh, okay, so you see, this is where I think maybe the kill had happened. You can just see that is all the partially digested grass from the stomach, and the actual stomach was actually here. So I think the vultures have either taken care of that, or there was a couple of hyenas that were laying around in this mud wallow too. But look at them. They're the vultures sitting out. Let's see if they've got full crops, figure out who the culprit was as to who had devoured the leftovers. Those are rupals and a whiteback. That's quite a nice sighting to see the two, see the differences between the two. The rupal slightly bigger, but look at the white on the beak. They've also got a lightly coloured eye in comparison, and then the whiteback on the right. And you can also see the fluffy white feathers where they get their name from. Very cool. Sorry, Louise, please can you say that again? I didn't quite copy you. Oh, it's Faith that's talking to me. Right, we haven't got much time left this morning. It has definitely been action-packed, to say the least. And I hope that you have all enjoyed the show just as much as myself and Sebastian has. We probably will do one last loop along the Mara River to see if we can't sneak in another crossing. Will we be lucky? Will we have 2 crossings today? I don't know. I feel like my luck has really peaked today. But that's okay. We will try our best. But keep an eye out for those live broadcasts. And I look forward to having chats with you. But from all of us here at the Wild Earth team, thank you very much. We'll see you for the Sunset Safari.